Hi guys, if you'd like to support the channel, there's a link in the description and a link in the comments. Please consider donating. Any donations are welcome. I appreciate your support as always and enjoy the video. Thank you very much. Hi guys, welcome to Irish Footy Vlogs and welcome to your first division review show. Myself, Keith Simons and Cian Menton are here as usual. Cian, we'll start off with Cabinteely beating Cobh Ramblers 1-0. Great result for Cabinteely because Mitchell Byrne scored with 2 minutes to go. I was just having a look at Cobh as well. They've only scored, they've scored 5 goals this season, which isn't great. I know they had high hopes for Kieran Griffin, but he was missing. He scored 2 goals and 5, 19-year-old striker. Pierce Phillips, a big loss to them as well. But Cabinteely are just going along nicely. Fourth in the league there, aren't they?
Yeah, look, massive win. Really good win. It was one of these games that I said can go either way. It just wasn't a great game overall. But, you know, Cabinteely got the win and they won't care about how they played or the result or anything. They don't care about how they played. It's only the result that matters at this time of the league as well. So, like I said, there wasn't a lot of chances. It wasn't an open game. But look, they won the game. Won it 1-0. Cobh be disappointed. You know, they were there or thereabouts for the playoffs last year, and now they really want to up the game a little bit just to get themselves back into the contention for it. So, you know, they have a little bit of work to do, but they'll do it. They'll get it done. And I still think they'll finish higher than Cabinteely.
Do you think so? That'll be interesting, yeah, because they actually have many points. Sorry, they're 7 points behind Cabinteely this minute in time as well. But as I said, missing a couple of key players as well. But good result for Cabinteely. Keeps them in the early shout up near the playoffs, I suppose. Cork City 5, Wexford 0. Now, in fairness to Cork, we have to give them a little bit of credit because they did win 5-0. Murphy with 2, Whitmarsh with 2. I seen the highlights for the goals, Cian, and unfortunately, Ross Tracy made a boo-boo for a couple of them. There were some poor mistakes for the Wexford goalkeeper there. Troubling times for Wexford, though.
Yeah, it was I know you say give Cork a bit of credit now, but you'd expect that. You know, you'd expect Cork to win it. It was really a lose-lose game for Cork in terms of, you know, they win a 5-0 and everyone's saying, they expected to do it. But if they win a 1 or 2-0, people are saying, Jesus, that was nervy. So, you know, there was a lot of pressure on them going into the game. I thought they adapted well to the game. They took the game to Wexford, which you'd want them to. You'd expect them to take the game to anyone in the division. But, you know, they look solid enough. I know Wexford didn't offer much now, I have to be honest. It was one-way traffic for the game. Like,
it's a tough start for them, isn't it? 7 defeats in a row.
Times. That's probably McNulty's first clean sheet in about 5 years. But like, it was comfortable for them, and you know they didn't take the foot off the gas at all. Now, I don't think Wexford even started. But look, it was a big win for them, and now they'll be needing to build on that now because they need to get themselves up there again.
Yeah, where do Wexford do you think go from here? It's obviously 7 defeats in a row, and on the back of 2 big defeats, that's 11 goals conceded. None scored in the last 2 games. We've talked about how they're a very young team and all that, but Harry Kenny actually left them as well, Cian, last week. I'm not sure if you knew that, but you know, Brian O'Sullivan is the man there, and I think David Breen is back in with them as well. They did have a bit of a good relationship there last season. What can they do? They've obviously a very small budget. Like, what can they do at this minute in time, do you think, to improve things?
You know, they're not going to be able to afford players and stuff like that. So you need to invest into the underage systems and the structures. You need to get top quality players in. You know, whether they're Wexford players or not, look, ideally you'd like to have local boys playing their side and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But you know, it doesn't matter. I couldn't give a shit if 20 Nigerians are playing with Pats, you know, and they're winning every week. It won't bother me. What I'm saying is, we need to have a couple. We need to realise now, sit down and have a look at this and say, look, where do we go from here? And this is a meeting that the coaches would have at the club and stuff like that, I would say. And, you know, they need to invest in the underage structure, which they are doing. So let's give them credit for that. They're underage.
It just takes time, Cian, doesn't it, as well? And everyone will look at the results. Yeah.
It takes a bit of time. It's not going to happen overnight. look, they'd be disappointed where they are now. I think they obviously would have seen themselves a lot. I won't say a lot higher, but a few more points on the board.
Points on the board, yeah.
So now even a point or 2 points is a good return for Wexford for Wexford standards, let's say. But you're getting hockeyed like that by a poor Cork City side, and like I'm not only saying Cork City, like everyone's beaten them so far, and everyone's beaten them fairly well.
I think the issue is actually the first few games they were getting beaten, they weren't getting hammered. Now confidence has completely dropped probably, and after getting hammered the last 2 games, as I said, they've a very young side of players that literally have come in, as you know yourself, and I know from Pat's under-19s, it's a big jump. We'll talk about that later in the Waterford Drogheda thing as well, just a big of a jump it can be. But like Brian O'Sullivan, I think he's a good man. I'm not sure if bringing in a new manager or anything like that changes necessarily. Might get you an extra few points at the beginning, but he done a good job last year after they struggled the year before, in fairness as well, didn't he?
Yeah, look, it's like the stats don't make for good reading now, of course. Like, but it's a lot more to it than stats. We've seen some ridiculous stats. So it's the stuff off the field that you need to be looking at and doing their things right with the club, which they are doing. Like, it is a club going in the direction that we want them to.
And at least they're not overspending or anything that keen. Like, it's important to keep teams of that in the league. They can easily overspend and suddenly they're gone, and then Wexford are gone like Monaghan, etc., etc. So at least they have a club there, don't they, as such?
Yeah, they have a club. They have a fantastic underage structure. I think they just need to keep doing what they're doing for the time being. Keep building on it. It's work in progress. It's a big work in progress. Like, I'm talking 10 years, I would say, before we see them up again. So it's going to be a long time, but it's going to be worth it because they're going to have a club that they can be proud of then.
Yeah, Galway United won, Bray Wanderers too. Finally, Bray got a win here, and it was a late one. Gary Shaw in the 19th minute grabbing the winner here, Keane, after Doyle gave them an early lead. And Keishan's doing well for Galway, to be fair to me, scoring a lot of goals there. Bad defeat for Galway, and as I said, a great win for Bray, but might be a bit of pressure coming on John Caulfield a little bit, Keane, to be fair. Potentially.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think anyone's talking about pressure on John. I don't think Galway would probably get a better man in anyway. So, I wouldn't be worried about that. But they'd be worried about where they are in the league. That's an awful result against Bray, who are being awful this season as well. So, you'd like to think you can pick up 3 points against Bray, and Bray would be thinking the exact same thing about Galway. Bray capitalised on it and got the win, which, it just shows you how things change from having a loss or from having a run where they haven't won now to having an unbeaten streak, let's say, in the league. And
ironically, they've only been beaten once, Bray, in 7 matches. Like,
yeah, so it's excellent. And you'll be looking at them now to be able to win now next week, get themselves back. Bray can get that win and build on it. That's 6 points from 6. Then they start really putting their name down back where they should be. Galway, a little bit flat, a little bit edgy, and I don't like using them type of buzzwords, but they didn't play with purpose. They didn't go at Bray. They never went at them as such. Like, it was always a counter attack. It was always sitting tight, don't concede, and then we go and catch them on the counter type of play, which we've seen with John Caulfield for many years now. But it was really just a little bit disappointed with Galway. Now, look, I didn't expect them to win the league, but I expect them to be up there. And I still think they will, but it's a lot bigger. It's a lot bigger of a job than I think a lot of people realised.
Yeah, how's McCormick doing there actually?
McCormick is playing in front of the back forward. Look, he's doing as good as a job as he can do. He's a great lad. You know what you're going to get from him. I think he's an excellent player.
Yeah,
he really is. Like, he came to Pats in 2014 as a right back, like a second right back, and he was never getting in over Gerard O'Brien. And then I was sorry to see him go because we could always see glimpses of him. Like he always played in the Satanta Cup games. He always played in the League Cup and stuff like that. You know, the games that, not the league games or the main cup games. So he was a really good player. And then he got his move to Derry and he started playing in front of the back four in his proper position, let's say. And he really stood out there for me. And, you know, then he went down to Cork and he was fantastic down in Cork. And, we kept Greg Bulger out of the side. And Greg Bulger was the best player in the league at that time, at that exact time, like just after winning and stuff. So he was excellent. But, I think he was Derry last year. He didn't have the greatest of seasons, of course, like every Derry player last year. And Galway, he was a big name coming into Galway. Now, I wouldn't say a big wage or anything like it because he wouldn't be, but, he'd probably be the biggest name in that Galway side in terms of calibre of player. So, that brings pressure himself, and I think he's handling it well. I just think Galway just need to start focusing on games and start getting points on the board. Like, it's great to see all the advertising and stuff that Galway do, and they're always getting sponsors and stuff. Let's start getting points on the board now, and I think they will because, John, you have some fantastic people involved in that club, and Galway will be up there. But something needs to change. They need to get a couple of points on the board.
Yeah, it's a long season. There's only 7 games gone. Shelbourne won Athlone Town 0, and unfortunately for Athlone, they're after losing 2 on the bounce here. Shelbourne on 15 points in second, Athlone on 13 points in third. Still a good start for Athlone. Ryan Brennan popping up with the winner again.
Yeah, Ryan will always be a danger man for you when you have him. He was great when he was at Pats and stuff. He's putting goal. He gets goals out and nothing. And you nearly forget you don't forget he's playing, but you nearly forget you have him in your side. And then you see him coming off the bench and Jesus, Ryan Brennan, now we're talking. No, that was the same at Pats. Excellent talent, a really, really good talent. But Shell's really done well in this game. This was a big match, like in terms of how Athlone started to how Shell started. Like people would say Athlone actually started better than Shelbourne this year. And you look at the table and look where Shells are and look where Athlone are. It's mad how like deception and stuff like that, the way you pick up things. But with Athlone would be disappointed. That's obviously 2 on the bounce. You would have liked it not to lose them anyway in this game, especially.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a bad performance from both sides. It really wasn't. It wasn't a great game to watch now either. But like all the games really this year or this season so far, really, they've never really standout games. Like if I talk about standout games this year for me, it'd probably be Shells and Bray.
3-3, yeah.
Yeah, I think standout games, that's probably the only one that actually sticks in my head.
And sometimes you need a lot of defensive mistakes to make a game entertaining as well, don't you?
Yeah, look, I think it's a credit that we're not seeing a lot of that. We're not, like the Fourth Division, we're not seeing a lot of mistakes. I think we are the Premier Division, but in the Fourth Division, we're not seeing a lot of mistakes. And they make for tight games. So Shells will be up there. Athlone will be there or thereabouts. But I didn't predict them to be challenging as close as people probably think 3 weeks ago or wherever it was. So, Shells or Athlone will be up there. Shells will be delighted with the win, a clean sheet as well. Clark will be delighted with that. That was a big win for Shells. I think that was a big statement there.
Yeah, I think they needed it actually. Yeah, I'm just looking at it though, goals conceded actually. Would you believe that 4 teams, UCD, Shelbourne, Athlone and Bray, have all conceded 7. That's the best in the division so far. So no one's brilliant defensively either, though, are they? In fairness, judging by those stats, but
no, look, seven goals in 7 games. It's not too bad.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's not too bad. I would be worried now if you're into 15s and 20s, but not 7 now. 7 wouldn't bother me. We was, some really good games. Really tight. Like anyone can beat anyone, and I think it makes for a great league.
Yeah, UCD, this must have been a good game to watch. Keane beat Treaty United 3-2, and you know, both teams are unbeaten going into this game. Treaty went 2-0 up. McSweeney penalty, Hanlon. But UCD's goal right in half time must have been crucial from Keane. I remember seeing it and thinking they could end up winning that game now. Second half, 2 early goals as well, Brennan and O'Brien. Yeah. And that was it then. Great win for UCD, still unbeaten. 21 goals they've scored in the league so far, by the way. That outdoes anybody by the next highest is 13 with Shelbourne. So 15 points, top of the table.
Yeah, look, fantastic. What a win. That was a huge win for UCD. I was only saying that Treaty don't shift a lot of goals. They shifted 3 here. But look, UCD were excellent. Treaty for the first half were excellent. And, you know, I thought they were really solid. They were comfortable, 2-0 up. And then, you know, slightly against the run of play, UCD scored. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, geez, this is mad. Second half, 2 early goals. And then, you know, you couldn't really see Treaty getting into it. They had a couple of chances, but there was nothing major in the game. Again, another game that was not between the sides, you know. It was 5, well, apart from the penalty and stuff like that, there was about 4 moments of brilliance. That's, you know, that's about it really. And, you know, there's not much at all. Like,
I'd imagine Treaty could still take heart out of it. I know they'd be gutted, but when they sit down in a couple of days' time, I'm sure they could take heart from this and say, look, these guys are playing arguably the best football in the league. And we matched them for most of that match. Yeah,
they matched them for most of the game. Treaty are a breath of fresh air, like I say every week. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but they're playing absolutely some really solid stuff, you know. And they look like a team that has just bonded so well. And, you know, it's really good to see that. And Tommy is obviously, like I says, this isn't a team that was thrown together 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the season. This is a team that knew they were going to be in this division in December or November, and they had the side, they had the play, they had everything done. So I wouldn't read too much into that type side of it. But, you know, Tommy has done a good job. He's had to get a decent group of players in. It's 7 games. People need to just relax a little bit because, you know, 7 games, it can change so quickly. You know, like you look at it in any division and you see, you know, you can find yourself up the top end of the table or the bottom within 2 games.
Like, you'd still be surprised if Galway finished behind them, if I'm completely honest, as the season goes on. We'll see, but I'd be surprised.
There's a lot of football to be played, and you know, I wouldn't be too down or upbeat about a result at this minute in time in any division.
That it? I wasn't sure if you finished your point or not. Right, guys, we'll leave it there. Please subscribe if you're new. Hit your bell notification button and comment below. Thanks a million. Cheers, Cian.
Cheers, bud.